Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Those of you who watch my channel daily or even weekly have heard me talk about Mr. Brian Shadowstrike several times. He's a great summoner who's vital to keeping me updated with the forums because I am not on the forums really ever. I just don't have the time in my schedule, but he makes it his quest, his task to send me links so I can get them in videos and talk about the latest news, and I very much appreciate that. He's also somebody, Mr. Shadowstrike, as he goes by on the forums and I guess in the game, who is passionate about buffing champions like so many of you are. And so he wanted to do a combo buff, which is pretty rare to see, for both Symbiote Spidey, the champion that inspired me to download this game in the first place, believe it or not, and Agent Venom. And he calls it a tale of two Venoms. He says, during the Secret Wars, Peter Parker came around mysterious black goo, overtook him, Symbiote Spidey background. Passive ability, Spider Sense Danger. Spider-Man's Spider Sense keeps him on his toes during the fight, allowing him to bypass 80% of all projectiles fired at him. If Spider-Man is suffering the effects of either stun or concussion, increase his chances to evade the next attack to 100% for 5 seconds. He says, parentheses, this is new. I do want to say that sometimes when Kabam touches a champion like the Hood, or Guillotine, or even Hawkeye, they get rid of or they nerf the one thing that they use that champion for. Spider-Man Symbiote stacks crazy long armor breaks with his heavies like nothing else. And if you buffed him, the key would be to do what you did with like Nebula or even Gamora, and instead of taking that away, make it faster. Make it easier to ramp up the max of that champion and just buff their already awesome utility, so to speak. Heavy attack, 100% chance to inflict armor break, reducing armor rating by 300 for 80 seconds. There you go. There is that thing we love so much. Symbiotic Effects, when facing off against tech champions, the symbiote protects Peter from all power burn and power drain effects. That's awesome. All armor breaks inflicted increase their duration by 50%. Now that is especially amazing because if you are already inflicting an armor break for 80 seconds and all armor breaks inflicted increase their duration by 50%, that's another 40 seconds, meaning it's 120 seconds or 2 full minutes of an armor break. Yes, please. When facing off against the villain or Sinister Six, Peter gains a passive cruelty buff, increasing his critical damage rate by plus 1300 at the start of the fight for 30 seconds. When facing off against Spider-Verse heroes, all attacks ignore passive evade effects. And then you can see Special Attack 1, 100% chance to inflict 2 armor break debuffs, each lasting 80 seconds. So basically like 2 heavies at once. Special Attack 2, this attack has a 100% critical hit chance. That has always been the case, I believe. Refresh all active armor breaks on the opponent. Updated. Special Attack 3, 100% chance to inflict Armor Shatter on the opponent for 30 seconds. Gains a Fury buff, increasing attack by 900 for 30 seconds. New. I think that might need a little bit of a tweak. I'd make that even better. But who knows? Maybe it would be OP enough. New signature ability, no more pulling punches. The black suit can feel the opponent is ready to drop and unleashes its full wrath by giving Peter 3 permanent Fury buffs, increasing his attack by 900 each. That is awesome. And then all special attacks become unblockable is another awesome thing. I'm not saying he'd be the best cosmic champ in the game. There's just too many amazing ones. Shout out to new champs like Null and Hercules. But this is a huge step forward in the right direction. And then, if that wasn't enough, he posted back-to-back his Agent Venom buff. Flash Thompson's intense military training coupled with the Venom symbiote grants him an 80% chance to purify any debuff. The Venom symbiote works with Flash to reduce enemy evasion by 50%. That's the same, but if the opponent is Spider-Verse, all his hits ignore passive evade effects. That is new. Symbiotic Struggle. Flash Thompson prefers to be in control during his fights and won't allow himself to gain more than 1 permanent buff at a time. A 5-hit combo grants Flash a Fury buff, increasing his attack by 600. Being struck 3 times in a row by the opponent grants Flash a resist physical buff, increasing physical resistance by 800. Intercepting the opponent grants Flash a precision buff, increasing his critical rate by 600. However, when Flash loses 50% or more of his health, he loses control of the symbiote, which enters Clintar Rage, granting him 3 permanent Fury buffs, increasing his attack by 800 each. Fury buffs can be removed 1 at a time if Flash is struck by a successful 5-hit combo. Interesting. All right, special attacks. All special attacks have an 80% chance to inflict bleed. I would say this. I'd just make it 100. You know, just make it 100. Dealing plus 7,700 direct damage over 4 seconds. If the opponent is bleed immune, inflict 3 armor breaks, reducing armor rating by minus 500 each, lasting 80 seconds instead. 80 seconds being the popular thing we just talked about with Symbiote Spidey. Special attack 1 is the same, reduced enemy evasion by 30%. Special attack 2, this attack incinerates the enemy, dealing 3,700 energy damage over 8.5 seconds. This effect also removes perfect block chance, reduces block efficiency by 70% while active. That's increased. And then special attack 3, 100% chance to inflict bleed. If the opponent is bleed immune, inflict 5 armor breaks instead. And then the signature ability updated, full symbiotic potential. Having gained full control of the Venom symbiote, Flash Thompson gains the following effects. Gain a second permanent buff at the beginning of the fight. And then when Agent Venom's health drops below 30%, gain a passive regeneration buff, healing up to 2,000 over 15 seconds. Regen is always appreciated. And there is some love from Pseudo Sane. He said, my one critique is that the numbers should be 100% for their abilities. Funny, I just said that. So as to not carve a niche fighting, I did like the tweak in their abilities. So I think my takeaway is that Agent Venom would be better, but the best of these two, at least on paper, would be Symbiote Spidey, which I'm perfectly fine with. Now, maybe he also needs the buff more, you could argue. Mr. Spider-Man Symbiote himself, Shadowstrike, thank you for the buffs. Thank you for always keeping me updated with the forum posts. It's always fun to repay the favor and shout out one of your forum posts. Have a great rest of your weekend, YouTube. Thanks for watching.